Hello and welcome to another update video about Polygon MATIC. MATIC is also developing and moving into the direction we talked about in the last video. I would still expect Polygon MATIC to land in the end here in this target range between the 88.7% fib level and the 78.6% fib level. So between roughly 30 cents and 60 cents, yeah. This is the area where most cryptos are just landing, yeah, as bullish as they might seem. And to be honest, Polygon has not corrected too much yet. Yes, it did come down already from up there to where we are now at around 55%. But don't forget that a lot of other cryptos have already corrected down 70, 80, some even 85%. And to see the same here for Polygon, you need to get at least to the 78.6% fib level at 60 cents. Yeah, that is just how it has to be to finish that correction off in a clean way. Yes, there is an alternative scenario in which we could argue that the low has already been found, but then we need to see, you know, how realistic is that really, because since we failed here to make a new higher high, I mean, it briefly made a higher high, yeah, but since it really struggled to make a sustainable all-time high, it has been selling off, and there is currently no sign of stopping. And I can only base it on what altcoins typically do, which is a sell-off into that region between the 88.7% Fibonacci level and the 78.6%. Yeah, that's just what I have to expect. Polygon obviously came here in July already to that 60-cent level. I don't know what should have changed, why we couldn't go there again, because I often get the comments that we'll never see that price again, but I don't know what would have changed, especially in the current market conditions and the sentiment. There's no reason why we couldn't see that price again, at least the 60 cents. I'd be more happy with 32 cents here. It sounds crazy at the moment, but I also sounded crazy in November when I talked about a whatever 30k Bitcoin or a $2,000 Ethereum, and all of that sort of materialized, at least nearly for Bitcoin, or a $100 Solana. So all of that materialized, and I think the only reason that Polygon isn't there yet is that it was very late with making its high here, end of December, and it looked at times as if Harmony 1 and Phantom and Cosmos did or do a very, very similar wave structure here as Polygon MATIC, but all of them have come down as well. Especially Harmony 1 has reached the target area already. Phantom not quite yet, but it will do in my view, and Cosmos is also still a little bit higher, but they will all follow in my view. So anyway, my main scenario here also in terms of the Elliott waves, that would be here this scenario that we have this higher level ABC correction go on, where we from the all-time high, from the back then all-time high, came down in a wave A. We then, all of this was basically part of that wave B correction. Yeah, all of that was a corrective wave. Looks very much like that because of all these overlaps that the price did there. And then now we are coming down in that wave C. That wave C should ideally land lower than the wave A. That is what I'm still waiting for, and that is also what most other cryptos have done anyway already. The other scenario is that what we've seen here was some kind of a diagonal pattern, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that you then after that saw your A, B, C wave, yeah, and from that point of view we could already have completed that wave C correction and have already then seen the low, but I would only give that a very low probability, yeah, because the downtrend isn't over yet. We can see that. I still see Bitcoin correcting further down. So yeah, that is just my primary expectation, right? It's not guaranteed to play out, but it's just my primary expectation. On top of that, what we need to see here, there are so many interesting things on this chart, right? So first of all, we talked about this head and shoulders here. Yeah, the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and that we could break it. And if you break it, you basically drop down the fibs. We did that. Yeah, came down. Yeah. And did another smaller degree head and shoulders, so very similar to what we've been doing up there, head and shoulders, and the head was used to retest the previous resistance. Okay, so now what are we doing here? Another smaller degree head and shoulders, very small, yeah, and again you've basically retested resistance with that head. So it's very, very interesting, but what we should not oversee is if we zoom out, you've got a huge head and shoulders pattern there, a huge one, which you might spot now. You've got your left shoulder here, you've got your head, Yeah, and you've got your right shoulder. And what's the neckline? The neckline is here the $141 level. That's the 0.5 fib level. Now, where could that price go? Because we can take just crudely here measure the height of that head, yeah, and add it to the potential breakout point. Now, I don't think it will go that low, right? But because that would take us to 0. But that shows that based on the height of that head, it is not unrealistic that we could land in the target area here. Okay, so watch that next fib level. That is a crucial one, 141, the 0.5 fib level. Bear in mind as well that we are still here below this descending trend line. Yeah, so there's a cluster of resistance just above it. We've got the 200-day moving average there at around 170, the 50-day moving average there a little bit lower at around 165. Then we've got this descending trend line here, we've got the ascending trend line here, and all of them providing resistance. So yeah, as expected, when we talked about it, the price could not break through the resistance, and since then has been heading further down. And I'm now looking at this 0.5 fib level. That is a very, very important one. You can see how the price is really getting squeezed into this apex. Again, when that happens, you see a decrease in volume. That is what we are seeing. And you typically get quite a big move if you break out of such of when the tension is growing, which it is, because the price can hardly move now in this apex. So that will be very interesting. Overall, you can see also the indicators are pointing to the downside here. The RSI is again still in the bearish range below 50. The MACD is also going to print here probably a bearish crossover, and that could be the last confirmation we need to really break that resistance to the downside, that support to the downside. Also, the stochastic RSI still shows further downside potential. So yeah, very interesting chart, and I still think that Polygon has a lot to catch up in terms of correcting down. Yeah, I did a very substantial move up here, a wave B, that did basically make a new all-time high, similar what Bitcoin did as well, but Bitcoin was just much earlier. Bitcoin was already in November, and here Polygon didn't happen before the end of December. So you're probably like 4, 5, 6 weeks behind in terms of correcting down. So it just has to speed up a little bit, and it will do in my view. So yeah, watch that 141 level. That is crucial. All right, that's my view here currently on Polygon MATIC. After the correction, maybe it was just one last sentence after the correction, when it's finally finished, we can expect a price target of at least 458 to 567. But these are the minimum targets for that next major wave up. But to really make that very interesting, that price range, we need to correct further down. Yeah. Yeah, that's my view here on Polygon MATIC. Hopefully you liked the update. If you did, please smash the like button and subscribe. And if you really like the content, then check out the channel membership. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.